Today I want to talk about how to wake up earlier in the morning. So we all know that waking up earlier allows you to get more things done, allows you to start your day off with vigor. And how do we unlock that potential? How do we wake up earlier every single day without fail? So the first thing that you have to know is how much sleep you need. So some people need more, some people need less. There are actually some people that have a mutation that allows them to sleep very little and still feel rested. But most people need between 6 and 8 hours of sleep a night. So if you're not exactly sure how much you need, then you can definitely start at like 8 hours, and every few days just cut it back 15 minutes at a time until you arrive at that level of sleep that leaves you feeling rested and not tired throughout the day. So the first goal and the first trick to waking up early is to understand why you're doing it. So you have to have a strong why. Do you want to wake up early because you want to focus on your fitness? You want to get a workout in first thing in the morning? Do you want to wake up early so that you can study for better grades or just do research? Or do you want to just meditate and have a peaceful, calming morning to get your day off right where you're not in a rush like most people are? So that's the first thing. Know why you're doing it. Have a strong purpose for why you would wake up early. If you don't have a reason to wake up early, you're just not going to do it. You won't wake up if you don't have a reason to. So the second point is your morning starts the night before. So what that means is you should be working the night before to set up your morning for success. So a couple things that you can do is you can set out your clothes for the morning. You can pack a gym bag, pack your lunch for work if you need to pack a lunch. Clean up the house. The night before you can set alarms. So make sure that your alarms are set to wake up on time. Make sure that there's no snooze option if you can set that up, if you can set it up that way. And one of my favorites, set up the coffee for the next morning on a timer. What that does is, when your alarm goes off, you know that coffee is already dripping. So you can get in there, grab a cup of coffee, and start your morning off right. The third point is set up your sleep environment. So you want to set up your sleep environment for optimal sleep. And you also want to prepare for sleep throughout the day prior to going to bed. So here are some key points for that. 10 hours before bed, you should stop drinking caffeine. So caffeine takes a long time to get out of your system. And if you still have caffeine in your system, it can really mess with your sleep. A lot of people have this problem because they drink caffeine all throughout the day, and then at night they can't fall asleep. I used to have this problem. I didn't realize that caffeine was the issue until I cut out caffeine for other reasons. And then I realized that my sleep got so much better. So this is like a self-reinforcing problem where you drink a lot of caffeine, you don't sleep well at night, you wake up in the morning, you chug a bunch of coffee, and then you're drinking caffeine throughout the day, and it just continues like that until you try cutting it out. But you don't have to cut out caffeine completely. Just make sure you don't have caffeine that close to bedtime. The next step is 2 hours before bed, cut out bright lights and stop eating food. So if you're digesting while you're trying to sleep, then your body's putting a lot of energy into digestion. It raises your core temperature. It does all sorts of things that can disrupt your sleep. So try to not eat 2 hours before bedtime. And also with lights, blue light and white light can affect your melatonin production, which affects your sleep. So you want to make sure that you dim the lights so that your body can start to prepare for bedtime. And this kind of goes back to ancient humans that didn't have artificial lights at night, so their circadian rhythm was developed with the cycle of the sun. So definitely turn those lights down if you want to optimize your sleep. 1 hour before bedtime, cut out any screens that you've been looking at. So you don't want to be stimulating your brain with these screens that close to bedtime. So instead, turn off the TV, pick up a book, and read for a little while. And in that situation, I would recommend fiction because self-help books or nonfiction in general will stimulate thought, which could keep you up. And then the last thing with the sleep environment is when you're waking up in the morning, this is going to sound kind of silly, but it works for me, so I'll share it. When you're waking up in the morning, when your alarm goes off, if you're feeling like not getting up, count down from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then launch out of bed like a rocket. So that visualization of a rocket, for some reason that works for me. I don't know, I heard it on a video or read it somewhere, and it just works for me, so I figured I'd share it. Number 4 is do not snooze. Never hit the snooze button. This is a trap that I've gotten into before. There were times when I would snooze for hours, and I really wasn't getting good sleep, because you never get back into a deep sleep when you're hitting snooze. It's really just an instant gratification thing. And I was really bad about it for years and years, and finally I just said, I'm not gonna do that anymore. And I set up a system to where I don't snooze anymore. So the first is that I put my phone far away from me while I'm sleeping. So it's either on the dresser or it's in the next room. It's far away, so I have to get out of bed. If I can reach my phone from bed, I will snooze every single time. So I set it up so that I can't snooze anymore. I get out of bed. The other thing I do is I set a second alarm further away that's louder. So if I snooze, I know that if I snooze my initial alarm and get back in bed, I'm gonna have a louder alarm going off further away that's probably gonna wake up my wife, maybe wake up the kids, and that sets it up so that I will never crawl back into bed. The other thing I do is my first alarm is pleasant, so I wanna wake up to a pleasant sound. I don't wanna wake up to like a siren or something crazy like that. I wanna wake up to a pleasant sound like birds or piano or something like that. So set your first alarm as a pleasant sound so that you wake up in a good mood. You don't wake up like frazzled. And then your second device can be a more urgent sound, but hopefully you don't typically hear that one because you can turn it off after you get up. So then there are a few things that you do after you get up, because I've also had times where I get up early, I kind of start my routine and I get bored or whatever, and I get sleepy and I go back to bed. So I wanted to avoid that. So here are some things that can help you avoid going back to bed, that can really get you started down a positive routine in your morning. The first thing, and one that I take pretty seriously, is getting dressed when I first get up. So it's 4:11 right now while I'm recording. I get dressed immediately when I wake up. It's important for me, and it makes me commit to the day. So I'm not gonna, strip all these clothes off and get back in bed. It just creates a higher barrier to go back to sleep. The other thing is, grab a cup of coffee. This is obvious, if you're a coffee drinker, that's part of your life. That's the first thing you're gonna do when you wake up. Grab that cup of coffee. Hopefully you had it on a timer, so it's already done and ready for you as soon as you crawl out of bed. Another thing is, do a quick workout. So this doesn't mean like go do 60 minutes of cardio. It just means do some quick body weight squats, do some push-ups, get your blood pumping. So when you wake up from a sleep, your heart rate is low and you're groggy, and the best way to get out of that is to raise your heart rate. And pretty much all of the tips that you see on the internet for fighting sleepiness is raising your heart rate through one method or another. So people will say splash water on your face. Well, that shocks you and initiates a fight or flight response, which then causes an adrenaline rush, which raises your heart rate. So all of these things that people recommend raise your heart rate. That's the key to fighting sleepiness. And the last one is go for a walk. So it's wintertime right now. Going for a walk outside in the brisk, cool air will wake you up. So if you're having trouble staying awake, that's a good way to do that. So those are kind of my 5 areas, my 5 tips for waking up early. I find that it's just incredibly empowering to be up early in the morning. When the world is asleep, you can really get into your flow state, get into a focused state of work or study, and it's just super effective for kicking off your day right. So I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below. If you like the video, hit the like button and hit that subscribe button for more videos like this. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.